And Chinese astronauts are now aboard its new space station after launching off earlier this week. The mission's commander is a veteran Air Force pilot in China's infamous People's Liberation Army. So does this move give China a strategic military advantage over the United States? Space and national security expert Brandon Weichert says it does because China now has its personnel and equipment permanently in low Earth orbit. Ask Weichert what this means for U.S. national security.
The head of the U.S. Space Command said last month that this station comes equipped with a 10-meter grappling arm that can handle up to 20 tons. Now, in peacetime, the Chinese say it's just going to be used to help ships dock with their station. But as we all know, in space, technology is dual use. So China in peacetime could use that grappling arm to help ships dock. But in wartime, they could use that to pluck our satellites from nearby orbits and push them out of orbit or sabotage them. And also the Chinese have long talked about, because the station's been on the books for a while, the China planners have talked about installing a large laser when their station is completed in orbit. Now, they say in peacetime the laser would be used to clear orbital debris. But in wartime, that laser could potentially be used to blind sensitive American satellites in orbit. Already, China has pioneered the development of lasers on the ground to be fired up at American satellites in the event of a war to temporarily blind or dazzle American satellites to make our forces deaf, dumb, and blind that would be charged with defending Taiwan or the South China Sea.
Has the U.S. Space Force expressed concern about this specific launch?
Well, as I said, the commander of the U.S. Space Command did express deep concerns about China's the grappling arm on the station. Space Force has monitored it. There does seem to be sort of ambivalent response from the part of the Western policymakers, which I think is a big mistake because, you know, just 10 years ago, China did not have really a space program. 18 years ago, did not really have a space program to think of. They got one guy in space in 2003, and ever since then, they've been on a steep learning curve. Yes, they're still behind us, but rather than being 18 years behind us, 20 years behind us, they're only about 6 or 7 years behind us now, and we still are standing still. That's not a good place to be with a rising China.
We see Elon Musk's Starlink sending satellites up to serve people broadband. We have Jeff Bezos is going to send tourists up to space very soon as well. So it's really becoming incredibly mainstream in a very short period of time. But are we prepared for any potential interference from malevolent actors like the Chinese Communist Party?
No. The military, in my book, I open with a space Pearl Harbor. Both China and Russia have worked on reorganizing their forces since 2010 to fight and win a space war against the Americans. And the first thing that they will do is to knock out or blind our satellites in a space Pearl Harbor type event. We are not yet prepared to defend ourselves, let alone retaliate in the way that would deter China or Russia from trying this during a geopolitical crisis.